Comedian Drew Lynch joins us to commiserate on yet another disappointing Colts season. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Colts, your daily Indianapolis Colts podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Colts podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network around. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs. FanDuel is giving customers more ways to get in on the action. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Zach Hicks, your resident film nerd of HorseshoeHuddle.com. I'm joined, as always, by Jake Arthur, the boots on the ground over at Roundtable Sports. And today we're joined by a special guest, Drew Lynch, comedian, the stuttering comedian, drewlynch.com. You guys can check out all of his tour dates. He's on tour. He's going around the country. He's basically just trying to get football off the mind right now. So he's going around working his tail off. Check out, again, drewlynch.com for all the touring the next several months, and check out the site for any of the dates near you guys. But Drew, last time we had you on here, the Colts were 7-2. We were talking about how great this thing was. 1-7 after you came on the show, and you dare to show your face again.
I know. Okay. So I didn't think it was going to be on me. I didn't think that was what it was going to be. That's not what we talked about in the beginning part of this video. To everybody listening right now, Jake and Zach talked to me like it was going to be a different thing. I didn't think that I was going to be cornered like this, where it was like it was my fault.
You don't get the script. I get the script. You don't get the script. But no, like, Drew, man, we gotta talk. Are you a superstitious guy? Because I feel like after what you did to the season by coming on the show, I feel like this is your
not fault. Okay, dude, not okay. But here's the thing. I'm telling you right now, if it is if it was me, like if somehow, I don't know, if I talk a second time, I don't know, based on this interview, like, do you think that, I don't know if the Colts do worse next season, or like we gotta scrub the footage and we can't ever talk to Drew again? I'll do it. I mean, I'll do it. Yeah. I'll move somewhere. I'll live abroad and I'll write a novel. I'll do whatever. I'll not follow them. I'll not follow them anymore if it means that you guys can get to 9 wins one time.
The 9 wins. I'm glad you're setting the
that
standard.
Won't be enough that year.
That would be enough. Remember the golden days 2 years ago, Zach? Oh man, I need a cigarette. 9 wins. It was the time. Just barely missing the playoffs.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew, our savior 2 years ago. Why can't we go back to the good old days of Gardner Minshew? Actually, we did go back to the good old days with Phillip Rivers, right? Drew, yeah. Okay, you know what? Let's start with that. What were your thoughts on Phillip Rivers coming in here with a beer belly and everything and just doing what he was doing? We loved it.
I thought it was maximum respect. Seriously, like, I mean, he came in and it was, honestly, what was his first game? Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, that's not even like, that was, I mean, I had shows that night, but I caught all the way up the course. So you know what? Of course, they were winning before I went on stage, and then I got off stage and they lost. So yeah, it's my fault. I'm now realizing it twice now. But I thought it was competitive. Like I was shocked actually. Here's the thing. I knew it wasn't going to be as bad as how everyone thought it was going to be, because he was catching so much flack. I mean, I felt so bad for him, and it was just like, here's a guy who really is here to show you that, like, so much of the quarterbacking position, yes, it's system, but it's everything between the ears. You know, you really can just, you know, he's making line of scrimmage adjustments, and I get it. Like, you know, physically he's not what he once was, but I mean, if you're talking about coming in and doing the job of a backup quarterback, he pretty well executed. I think a lot of times it was maybe our defense who was letting us down.
Yeah.
I agree, because the thing, he never was awesome because of how physically gifted he was. He was just smarter than everyone. And, you know, he can't throw the deep ball, but he throws with anticipation and everything. But one of kind of the more interesting things that I feel like can only happen with the Colts is Riley Leonard is the next guy up. And, oh, yeah, Phillip Rivers and Riley Leonard, Phillip trains him in the offseason already. Mm-hmm. They're from the same small hometown in Alabama. We did get a couple small glimpses of Riley, and he honestly might get a bulk of the starting reps next offseason until Daniel Jones is back. So What did you think of Riley, and what do you kind of want for him moving forward after this?
I thought he was really, really efficient. And it's like, I mean, he strikes me a little bit as like a Brock Purdy, I mean, even like watching Brock Purdy, last night, you're just like, this guy just, I mean, he didn't have any of it. Like everybody's saying like, oh, he needs a superstar cast to be able to make it work. And talk about somebody who throws with like in anticipation and just understands how a play is supposed to unfold. Like I actually thought that Riley Leonard showed a lot of promise. And I also think like I have to be very careful about how I'm viewing that, because I'm in such a desperate, you know what I mean? I'm in so like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, he's the best. I like, he's a quarter. He throws the ball, but I bet he's good. He's good.
Exactly.
I caught it. Sign him right now. It's everything. So it's let mortgage the future. Get him in here. Throw it. And there was a first down twice. It's like I thought that there was lots of promise, but I also am just I'm cautiously optimistic, because you don't know what type of environment he's actually going to come. The start of the season, even with preparation, can be different when you're like, oh, this guy has the starting job while Daniel Jones heals up, or there was almost effectively nothing really to play for when we were playing, and that's probably a great learning environment. But at the same time, it can maybe affect our view or how we're judging it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm just curious, have you started like the Riley Leonard like fan club yet, or like the Twitter accounts where you're putting Riley Leonard QB1?
Those are all mine.
Next,
those
Tom
are
Brady.
all me. Yeah. Twitter, OnlyFans. I do it all for Riley.
I get it. You know what? We're at the point, like, again, we're like a high school boy just trying to find like some kind of love right now. A girl looks at us, it's like that's the one right there. That's us with quarterbacks right now.
We're the only ones with no prom date. So yeah, we'll go with a relative if we have to. Yeah.
That's basically the way it's going right now. But the season's in the books, unfortunately, another 8-9 season. And then immediately when the game's over, right, we get the message, right, that Chris Ballard, Shane Steichen are coming back. And look, there's reasoning for why you bring them back, I guess, as a first time in this role for Carlie Irsay-Gordon. It's not all her fault here, but just 10 years of Chris Ballard, man. What are your thoughts on 10 years with Chris Ballard?
Man, I could not do what it is that I think Carlie does and what it is that Chris does. I can't do either of those things, because I feel like I would also be very much like I'm too close to, like, he cares so much about the people he signs and he works with, and maybe that's the same sentiment from the owners as well. It's like you want to do right by people. It's almost like it's too Indiana for its own good. You know what I mean? It's like we can't be cavalier. And sometimes we hold on for something with something. We hold on to something that might not be ultimately good for us. And we're holding on to a good thing because we don't want to risk maybe going for a great thing. And you have to make those tough decisions, I think, when it comes to truly just an objective evaluation. I'm not really cold enough to be able to just say, but just looking at an objective evaluation, what are we doing? Is the message at this point stronger than the idea that maybe someone's coming into not a great situation? And I feel like it might be. You have to communicate not just to your organization, but to your fans. You have to communicate to people that things aren't just stalling, that we're not just like let me know. Like, just let me know that, like, we're not, we're married now, and you're on the couch all the time, and you drink apparently, and like, and you talk, and you get cats a lot, you buy many cats, and they're on the couch with you, and you scrapbook clippings from a magazine that you found, and you're in a smut club. I don't know, it got too specific, but my point is
that your life right now?
Get up off the couch. Get up off the couch, please. We have to get up off the couch, please.
Drew describing a loveless marriage there. Are you good? Everything good at home there, buddy?
Not mine.
So the clear message here is selling hope. And here in a moment, We're going to talk about, there's a lot of the same being run back, but how can the Colts, even though we've already heard from the top brass, how can they sell hope in these coming months in the offseason? This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or jumping into player projections for the first time, trying something new can feel like a challenge. But with Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure football matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never slows down, and Prize Picks lets you stay in control. Prize Picks is the daily fantasy app that makes watching sports even more exciting by letting you build lineups based on player projections. No drafts, no waiting, just pick more or less and play your way. Getting started on Prize Picks is quick and simple. The app is super easy to navigate, and it's made watching games more engaging, especially when following individual player performances. I personally love the flexibility with options like Flex Play, where you can still get paid even if one of your picks miss. The new early payout feature is a game changer as well. If a player starts hot, you can cash out before the game even ends. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You could buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but I never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play to play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. All right, everybody. Thank you for making Locked On Colts your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayer clubs. You can catch our audio ad-free and get an invite to the members-only Locked On Everyday Club Discord server, which includes a group chat for listeners of just our show. Go to lockedoncolts.supercast.com to join or even gift a subscription. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. We are joined by comedian Drew Lynch, Colts super fan from afar. Very difficult to keep his heartstrings intact, I think, with this team. And I think it's been difficult, the message coming out of Colts HQ. We're getting year 10 of Chris Ballard. We're going to go into year 4 of Shane Steichen. There's been no playoffs for 5 years. They even brought back the 44-year-old quarterback who got them to the playoffs last time, and it didn't work. So it's kind of, we're talking about what needs to change with the same cast of characters. And without committing to it, Carlie Irsay-Gordon kind of intimated that maybe not playoffs or bust, but like vibes have to be very high at the end of next year. I don't want to say an ultimatum of playoffs or bust, but she said like the urgency to win for Chris and Shane has never been higher or something along those lines, paraphrasing. So Drew, like what do you need to see out of this same cast of characters this offseason to be sold hope for 2026?
Here's what I want to say. Okay. Every season it has been, it has never been higher. Okay. And I get, I do get that. I get that they have to, I mean, you've basically leveraged yourself into this, you've cornered yourself into this place where you have to say that because the result's not this is the same in that it's not the result you want. So I think what is difficult about this is two things. One, yes, we got riddled with injuries, probably right at the worst time. I mean, and in the worst way. I mean, it was like, I feel for Chris Ballard and for the organization of like, they went out and they swung big and then other things collapsed around it. And it just didn't line up in a way that worked out. And you that sucks because you went out and did something different. And then you got you face consequences, not reward. So it's hard to fully evaluate where we're looking next season when you started this season with that same level of like the urgency that they're talking about, this momentum of like, we're here to do this thing. We're here to actually make some changes and do something different. And this was starting to like right around that time. It was like, right after the Chargers game, it was like, I feel really, really good about this team. I just feel really good. And I felt good about like defensive adjustments and the coaching. And there were some things that were occasionally questionable, but just overall, you just felt good about it. And I don't know that you can actually bring somebody in like a it's kind of like I follow you guys on Twitter. Jake, you're very much like you report as it is a lot of times. Zach is like despondent. He is like he is like just gloom city, dude. It's like it's so palpable and still somehow so palatable, because I'm like, yeah, I mean, I think it's totally fair. I think it's totally fair to just be kind of a little bit gloomy about what the season is. We were almost gloomy knowing that like Daniel Jones was signed and we knew he had a ceiling, and we weren't, and no one I don't think was like holy cow over the moon with the fact that we had him as our starting quarterback. And now he's coming off of an Achilles and we don't have much of a cap. We're going to say goodbye to probably a lot of veteran players. So in that way, it's really going to have to be like, what can Chris Ballard do to really spin some picks, spin some magic to bring juice to really address what went wrong? Because yes, we got riddled with injuries, but also we got exposed by the fact that our schedule was so much more difficult in the second half, and these teams like the Jags and the Texans had their kind of adversity kind of sprinkled in or earlier on. And, we weren't, it's good to win a home opener, but I mean, that's all that we can hang our hat on this season.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think for me, it's like with the decision Carlie Irsay-Gordon picked, right, of running this thing back at least one more year, I understand it from her perspective, right? And this is not me justifying it to Colts fans. As Drew said, it's doom and gloom over on my socials and stuff all the time now. But like they had a positive point differential. They didn't play against a backup quarterback once the entire season. They played against 9 teams with 10+ wins this year. They had a very difficult schedule. Their quarterback tore his Achilles. They had 5 games without a starting quarterback, without their top 2 quarterbacks. So I understand from her perspective running this thing back one more year, right? But Drew, this is the question I have for you and kind of all Colts fans. When you look at this thing, it's like we kind of acknowledge that we're on this like tipping point where it's like, if it goes a little bit more one way, we're going to tear this whole thing down and start over, right? So how much do you want to go all in this season? Like, how much do you want like Chris Ballard to push money to the future and trade draft picks and like go get veteran pass rushers and veteran linebackers to fix this thing, even though that tipping point is right there to where you might have to rebuild this thing and it could hurt that potential rebuild? It's like a really weird fine line.
Yeah.
It's in such a difficult place because it's not clear. But the problem with that is that just cusping it is what we've already been doing. So this is why I understand the predicament, and this is why it's very difficult to look to be optimistic for what the next season can look like, because I think their hopes, even in bringing Phil, was like, let's just get into the playoffs and then we can kind of bite ourselves. We can kind of bide our time a little bit and just be like, because I don't think it's unfair to say that the Colts might have been a little bit limited in thinking that there's not a ceiling. There's a ceiling on Phillip Rivers getting us into the playoffs and maybe where we go from there. But it's just like, is that the goal? Is the goal to get into the playoffs and then leave? Is the goal to have a winning season and not get into the playoffs? I mean, just cusping it is we can't. I don't know, man. Like I said earlier, the Patriots are good again. They're out one of the all-time great coaches and quarterbacks, and they came all the way one lap around the sun to be good and probably making a deep run in the playoffs. And we are still exactly where we are. And I can't fault Chris Ballard for really being aggressive, and it just blew up in his face. But it is really hard to look at like what this next season's going to be and try to, because you can't go even further if it's like we just need to blow up the whole foundation.
Right.
You talk about kind of the mystery of what that next season looks like, and if there's something you would prefer they do, like there's a lot they need to do, like we all know that, but like whether it's get tough and like cut some rough contracts and like build more cap space, or like trade a couple guys off like Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman Jr., whatever, like guys where it's just like maybe time to create more draft capital, or even like a position you think would be a big difference maker, like knowing that they have to go for it this year because of who they brought back. Like they need to try and be good this year. It's not rebuilding. What do you want to see them address specifically the most to, I guess, be good at all?
I think it's linebacker and line. I mean, of course, you know, it's defense. I mean, it's like you need to, like, not like any other ways he's done before where we're like, let's bring in Yannick Ngakoue and that's our defense, you know. No. Like you need to address the defense in a huge way. I want it to be like, if you bring back some of the same personnel on offense, which it looks like we are because we're under contract with a lot of them. Okay, like we had a great at one point we had a great offense when Daniel Jones could bootleg. We had a great offense. When Daniel Jones could kind of roll out, it was like that was another thing that was a little more difficult to defend, and it was just so complex as a how do you defend this offense? That's what everyone was saying. But then our defense, like, just kind of, you know, I want to see next season a truly complete roster and in that way. But the narrative for so long, no one has ever been like, the Colts are tough. That's a tough defense. You're going up against like when I think about the Texans, I'm terrified in every way. Every single I'm peeing. I have to pee right now. I'm peeing. I have to pee because I'm a little scared. Because you have Will Anderson Jr. and you have Danielle Hunter, who looks like he was made in a factory. He's a giant vein. And then you've got Derek Stingley. You've got like why do I know their names? This is what's bothering me. Why do I know the Texans' names? That bothers me that I know that. I know, and Tank Dell. Like, why do I know that? It just bothers me that it's like they are just a scary like defense. And I'm not saying we need to be like the Texans, but if you would like to beat the Texans, you probably should. So
yeah, no, for sure. And I think a lot of it's drafting, a lot of it's signing, and staying healthy for sure is a big part of it, because there was probably a point this year where I could name more Texans starting defenders than Colts starting defenders, and I covered the team for a living, you know, because Cameron Mitchell and Jonathan Edwards and all these guys getting thrown out there. It's like, man, what are we down to right now? While the Texans are rolling out, you know, the Jalen Petries and Kalen Bullocks, who are just studs, and they're not even the guys you talk about, you know, and it's just, you want your defense to be formidable like that and not be this bend don't break style. I'm not saying that's what Lou Anarumo was this past season. He tried not to be bend don't break. It's just they broke a lot on defense.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to interject here, Zach, but like I know like Justin Wally, like that was tough. We were all looking forward to like what that was, and we were really excited. We moved up to get this guy. You want to see all of your draft picks flourish. And what happened with Jalen Carlisle? Is that guy on the team? What happened with Jalen Carlisle? Where are you, man? Are you in a lawn chair somewhere? Like, where is Jalen Carlisle? Every time I was like, why am I refreshing to figure out where Jalen Carlisle is? Like, it was, can we campaign to find Jalen Carlisle?
Right.
So it like, but what I'll say is like, there was a time when at the very least on the back end of what the Colts were when they were the Colts, Peyton Manning led Colts. And every year we were winning if not the 1 seed, for sure, always the South. We had Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis on either end, and it was just like on the back end of the defense, and maybe there are pockets that were not great, but you have to be able to get to the passer. You have to. It's not just like we can't just generate pressure. We've got a lot of pressures. Okay, but were they ever on the ground? Were they uncomfortable? I get it, but it's like the proof already exists. The model already exists. So it feels like if we are able to maybe get something complementary to Leatu to really just collapse it. There's just so much time. There's just so much time. I was at so many games. I was watching so many games, and I was at so many games. For some reason, I was at the games this season where I was saying, get him. Can you get, how are you, why are you massaging him? Why are you holding please don't caress him. Get him on the ground, please. No more caressing. Are they coaching caressing? Because I get it. We want to be kind, but stop caressing the quarterback.
Yeah. No, that was a big issue this year for sure.
Well, that's why you get
a huge issue.
That's why you get a new D-line coach in there. That Charlie Partridge went to Notre Dame now, Drew. So they're going to have to get a new D-line coach in there who is anti-caress, anti-massage, all violence.
I think NFL teams should be anti-caress and massage for sure at this point.
Yeah. We're not
that
the Texans.
note,
we're not the Texans in that way, but
right.
Yeah.
On that note, so we had some leftover Q&A from this week. You guys sent us in a ton of questions, and we figured we would get to a few of those with Drew here, get into some specifics. So we'll get to that in just a moment. The wild card round wraps up tonight, and it has been an incredible opening round of the NFL playoffs, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to the bets that you like the most. So here's how it works. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. The boosts then let you lean into your game day instincts. Whether you're backing the momentum, defense, quarterback, player, coaching, the boosts give you more juice on the bets that you already like instead of forcing you to be something new. So make your picks, then apply your profit boost to get after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. We are joined by comedian Drew Lynch. He is touring for the next several months, so go and check out drewlynch.com for tour dates near you. We're going to get into some of this leftover Q&A that you guys sent us this week. You always just make it rain on us questions, and we have to break it up into 2, 3, 4 episodes. So we love to do it, and we thought what better time to get back into it than with Drew. So we're going to crack into this one here. So some of these are pretty tough, not going to lie. We'll start here with, assuming the Colts get rid of Michael Pittman Jr. in order to keep Alec Pierce, what is the best way to fill that new wide receiver gap? That is from a viewer over on YouTube. Basically, do you want to elevate someone from internally? Do you want to trade for someone, draft, free agent? So I'll give you that. If the Colts do replace Michael Pittman Jr., how do you want to replace him? And I guess stylistically, do you want that player to be the same?
I think that Shane Steichen is creative enough as a offensive coordinator to be able to supplement whatever that role is. And I think as much as I'm going to miss Michael Pittman Jr. As much as I'm going to miss, because he's got his whole life, he's got his farm here, he's got his family here. This is tough, especially when you get a first contract. I think Ashton Doolin is so serviceable, and I don't know if we keep him, but I also think you can draft, and I also think it doesn't need to look like Michael Pittman Jr. We can get creative, and I think that's why we're moving off of Michael Pittman Jr. It's we have Alec Pierce, who kind of does a lot of the same things, but he's a deep threat, and I just think I think Michael Pittman does a lot of unsung things that you don't see, and that's great. But at the same time, it's just, it can the job be done by somebody else for cheaper? And that is the question that you have to look at objectively, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of been the question of Chris Ballard's tenure is, can you separate the emotion from the business decision here? And I'm curious what your overall thoughts are just on that potential where, the Colts could save $25 million of this next season by cutting or trading Michael Pittman Jr., which is probably right around what they need for Alec Pierce to bring him back. Are you of the opinion, like if it came down to it, either or, you'd prefer to have Alec Pierce on a long-term deal than have Michael Pittman Jr. back this year?
I think so. I mean, I think that's such a tough thing to have to do, especially because, we were at a time where we were like, is Alec Pierce going to figure it out?
Right.
Is he going to figure it out? And we also don't know if he wasn't even able to figure it out because of the opportunities that he wasn't getting. He had somebody now at the helm this season who was able to distribute the ball on time and accurately, and also really just throw it out there. I mean, it's like Pierce comes down with it, man. He just comes down with it. His jump ball, I don't know that anybody else's is like that. And I think the answer is yes. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think if you're going to separate the emotion from the business, I think the answer is yes.
Yeah. This next one is from Owen Stevens. He's always in the chat, so I guarantee he's watching right now. And it's essentially the same question, but looking at Mooney Ward. So Mooney Ward dealt with 3 concussions this year, was on IR for it twice. We spoke to him at locker cleanout day, and he said, I don't know what my future is, but if I get one more concussion, I might retire. I'm going to try and have an answer for the team as soon as possible, talk with my family. So at very worst, if you've got kind of a foot out the door like that, I could see from a team perspective why you might just be like, it's probably best to go ahead and move on. So let's just say Mooney Ward is not a part of the picture next year either. This defense, we can tell by how many resources Chris Ballard threw at the cornerback room throughout the year. Cornerback is incredibly valuable, especially if you don't have that great pass rush. So if you got to move on from Mooney Ward, you obviously have Sauce Gardner, which a great number one option if you're not going to have Ward. How do you replace that? Do you just go with Justin Wally coming off his own injury, or do you want to see them go sign a starting level player?
I think you have to. Well, I don't know how you guys see the Justin Wally pick, but I kind of always thought that was maybe Kenny's replacement. Right. And that's another one that's I don't want to see that guy go. I don't want to see Michael Pittman go. I don't want to see Grover go. I love all these guys, but if I'm someone who says I love them, but we have to say goodbye, and I'm not the GM, that's a problem. You know what I mean? So I think that you kind of draft. You hope to draft that. I mean, you also can consider maybe Chris Ballard's success at drafting that position, and it's not necessarily been great. And so it's I think when you had those two on the field together, which was for all of 5 snaps or something, right, where they were both on the field together, because the Colts we're cursed as we can't have them be on the same field at the same time for whatever reason. I feel like it was a different defense, but yeah, I think you kind of have to draft that. And I wouldn't say you need to do an expensive acquisition, especially when you have a true number one corner in Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, it's just you got to get more guys who fit what Lou wants. It can't just be Jalen Jones, you're not going to play on my defense because you don't fit. Okay, why is he even here then? Why is he even here? There can't be this kind of this mixing here. But we're going to put on our draft caps for a second. Now, you don't have to tell me an exact player to take here, Drew. I don't expect you to watch every single college football player. We don't even know yet. So I'm not asking you a specific player. But Bo asked a question about with issues at corner and linebacker and pass rush, where do you go with the second round pick? And mind you, pick 47 now is our top pick in this draft, Drew. So this has to be the pick that we're all this is our Tyler Warren type pick, right? The pick we're mocking all offseason.
Long snapper.
Right.
Long snapper. All the way down. Each round, Zach. Long snapper. Long snapper. Longer snapper. I want a longer snapper in the 6th.
Yeah, I think it could work. I mean, they play linebacker a lot in college, but if you were just sitting here, put your fan cap on, like thinking just like, this is what we need, another young, fast, athletic player at this position. Which position would you go with that second round pick? Is it linebacker? Do we go linebacker that high?
That's the way. I think here's the thing. If you consider his drafting history, he's always able to find gems at that position in the later rounds. So that is something. Otherwise, I would say linebacker. But otherwise, you have to consider, his tendencies and maybe his superlative when it comes to trying to address that position in a later round. But usually the first 2 rounds are kind of reserved for like the bigs. Those are kind of like, these are the guys who are like they're physical. They've got they're big like the line. And I think if you're going to look at someone, I don't know how. I don't know how at 47 you're going to find like a big that's like a difference maker. Like I know we did Tulam what I can't. That's not
we've all been there, Drew.
It's not fair for anybody to have to say
JTT.
Yeah,
so thank you.
We had to practice it.
Yeah. So but and I think he was good and he's got a great spin move and all that. But it's like I think he was second round or he third round?
Second round. Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, man. Like my gut says you got to go one of the bigs because they're the novel picks, but you're at 47, which is not a novelty spot. So
yeah, it feels like they just need a good player. Like, I don't care what position, right? They just need a guy who's going to produce next season.
Someone in the front 7.
And that's the thing, right? Like, because JT Tuimoloau was he was out there every now and then. Justin Wally didn't play this year, 3rd round pick. Tyler Warren was great at 15, right? That's a premium pick. But like round 2, it's like I don't care what position. It could be long snapper, like Drew said. As long as they're good in year 1, it's like cool. Like, let's get a productive rookie contract player because I feel like we haven't had a ton of those recently.
Yeah, and you hope it's on defense. Like you hope it's on defense. And like think about, I don't know, you want if you want also someone to come in who's going to change the identity of your defense, a lot of times that comes from the linebacker position. This was like a Darius Leonard. This is like a Fred Warner. This is like these guys are like, these guys come in and they change the whole mindset. They change the toughness of the defense. And I just think like, I don't feel like that there's like a scare. Like I'm not scared of this defense. And I'm 5'4" and 140 pounds.
I'm terrified of the defense.
All right.
I don't know about you.
Yeah. All right. So one more here, Drew. I think for a lot of Colts fans, they have found solace in the Indiana Hoosiers this year. Next Monday night, Indiana, Miami for the national championship. Indiana, one of the best college football stories we've had in a while. You have your Indiana roots. What is going to happen next Monday?
I can't even tell you what, because here's the thing. I don't follow college that much, but I'm a huge Curt Cignetti fan. I mean, it's
of course.
Like that guy is like, he needs to be like studied and like all the time. Like I don't know. I feel like he says stuff and you're just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's yes, of course. Yes, exactly. Where he's like, he'll say something, something like, do the fortune cookie before the meal and that'll determine how you eat. And you're like, what? Yeah, of course. Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, we're at an Italian restaurant, but sure, whatever you say. So like, I through and through, here's the thing, independent of where I'm from, like you have to look at what he's doing and you have to look at how much of a culture shift it really has been. I root for that guy all the way to the end. And I'm not gonna plague us or them by giving a prediction or even talking about it because it's all my fault ever, apparently.
That's true.
But I think good things happen.
Good. I think that was smart play right there, Drew. I appreciate that for sure. I'm sure the listeners appreciate it as well.
I'm not known for being smart, but I had to do that.
That was good. We want to thank you guys for tuning into this special edition of Locked On Colts, though. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode. Make sure you subscribe and follow to Locked On Colts and get all the latest episodes. And if you don't already, make sure you're following at Locked On Colts, at Jake Arthur NFL, at Zach Hicks 2, and at the Drew Lynch, all on socials. And if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Colts ad-free plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedoncolts.supercast.com to join the club. And for those of you on video, we're going to send you over to the first ever 24/7 National NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you check out Locked On NFL Podcast next. And again, this was Drew Lynch joining us today, comedian on tour. Check out drewlynch.com for all the tour dates in near you. We really appreciate having him on. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow afternoon.